at the end of the meditation, I mentioned that a lot of wisdom can come from sitting through meditations when you're not even meditating anymore. It's just an exercise in stubbornness, and a lot of good can come of it. One thing that comes is the quality of khanti, which is the Pali word for patience. Patience is one of the 10 paramitas, which are the qualities of heart that the Buddha said we should develop. And I think of them as 10 separate jars that we're trying to fill with good thoughts and deeds, actions by body, speech and mind. And I'll get on to khanti a little bit, but I thought I'd go in order. Hopefully khanti's the third in the order, but I can't quite remember. But the first is 100% dana. Dana is the word for generosity. If you were to live in a monastery, the word dana turns almost into a synonym for food. If someone would, and people visit the monastery and say, "Oh, I brought dana," and that's usually food or sweet treats. And if you, unless you count Haribo as a food item, then it's just food basically. Because generosity and giving, there's not many things that monks can have, but people want to give to monks. And in Thai culture, they really are very generous people, and they think of it as making merit. And as a Westerner, I was quite sort of opposed to this idea of making merit. Why can't these Thai people sit and meditate rather than just giving? We don't need any more. We really don't need any more, I don't know, toilet roll or toothbrushes or shower gel. And the monasteries, all Thai monasteries, are constantly giving away laundry items. It's one monk said to me that people must think all we do is eat and shit, which is generally what the monks only get given. But then when I saw it more. I saw the real value in generosity. And then I noticed that dana was the first on the list. And I spoke to my friend Graham about this, and he said it was there for a reason. And that was the end of the teaching. And I thought about it, and the more I realised was the more you give, the less there is of you. The less you're thinking of yourself. And when you're giving gifts to people, if you're giving gifts in the right way, you're not giving, because you can give gifts maliciously. I've met people who give very ostentatious gifts as a way to boost their ego, which makes people feel uncomfortable. I'd certainly feel uncomfortable if someone spent the price of a small car on a bottle of whiskey or something for me. It would make me feel uncomfortable because I can't repay that in monetary terms, and they certainly see that gift in monetary terms. But when we give a gift where the value is truly irrelevant because the appropriateness of the gift is so clear, like when my sister came to visit a couple of weeks ago, she gave me a gift that was that the value of it was irrelevant because it was an object that I can keep in my house that matched the scheme colours of my living room with my sort of sense of humour, and she gave a cushion that perfectly matched the living room with my sense of humour. And I just couldn't believe she managed to get such perfect gifts, and the monetary value would be a weird way of comparing it. So if you give a gift in that way of an appropriate gift, because my sister certainly wouldn't have liked those objects in her house. She wasn't giving me a gift of what she thinks I should like. She gave me a gift of what I do like. That generosity shows she's truly thinking of someone else. She's not doing it to inflate her ego. She's not doing it to show off herself in any way. She was just pure generosity, and that generosity is a key to spiritual development. If you're always thinking about how you can benefit from a situation, you're really not thinking in a spiritual way. But if your first thought is always for helping others, and a gift can be a gift of presence. A gift can be, it doesn't have to be a physical object. Physical presence is certainly a gift. Giving your time to someone is more valuable, especially when we're all so busy. So these gifts are really not about monetary gain. A handwritten poem on a scrap piece of paper from a pen that you took from a betting shop is still a wonderful gift, even though there's absolutely no monetary value. So that's my thoughts on generosity. And the second is sila, which is morality. I remember I recently told a friend, Dana comes before sila, knowing that they're the bookish type, and they'll probably look it up, because most people don't have a working knowledge of Pali terms. And morality comes comes after generosity. Because if you're really generous and you're really giving and thinking of others, and that it lowers your selfishness, and it makes being moral so much easier. How hard is it to be moral when everything you see is a zero-sum game, where for you to benefit, someone else has to lose? If you see the world through that, then it's only logical to be mean and unkind in body, speech and mind, and that is basic morality, isn't it? It's just actions by body, speech or mind that don't harm others. If you can not go round harming others by body, speech or mind, then you've got good morals, good morality. And yeah, that made me really realise that the Buddha, after giving up everything, and he really is the poster boy for whatever the opposite of materialism is. But yeah, he really wasn't known to be moral. Monks can't touch money. Thai monasteries are very, very Spartan places, so it's not a tradition that likes to adorn things with gold or anything like that, or fancy robes or any shows of wealth. Not that there are other traditions that do that more, and that's a matter for them. But yeah, so how does someone that's so against material wealth have generosity? Because it feeds into morality. And then if you're generous and thinking of others, and you're living a moral life towards others, the third paramin is khanti, which is patience. And that then, the third one is the third most important, is the first one that relates to our inner world. And it shows the Buddha's emphasis on on helping others and first. But patience is really a very high virtue for what the Dalai Lama would call selfish in a good way. If we're patient, and there's a difference between patient and endurance, and when Westerners think of patience, we think of sitting and suffering, but that's not really patience, that's just willpower. Sitting and suffering, waiting for your name to be called in a doctor's surgery isn't being patient, that's just being stubborn. But when we sit in the doctor's surgery and we truly don't mind how long it takes, as long as we haven't got anywhere important to be, but say we haven't got anywhere important to be and we turn up at 9 in the morning and our name gets called at 4 in the afternoon and we really didn't mind because we had nothing else to do that day, surely that's a wonderful blessing. I'd certainly love to have that, to give that gift to everyone I know, that ability just to sit and be patient without frustration, without boredom, when people are unskillful towards us, not even unkind, but their behaviour causes us frustrations or problems, or we can see that their behaviour is causing other people frustration or problems, and we can become short-tempered, we can become all sorts of negative things. But if we're patient with people, then we're suffering less, and in a selfish way we all want to suffer less, and obviously that benefits other people, we're pleasant people to be around, but that is a quality that I certainly need to develop. But yeah, so and Kanti is a quality that it is hard to develop in the regular people world. If there's one thing a monastery is good for, it's developing patience, and meditation retreats. If you sit down for 10 days without talking, you can get really bored. If you spend any time in a monastery, you can get really frustrated with the other residents. It's a system almost designed to create frustration, and if I'd spent longer in a monastery, I certainly would have become a more patient person. But yeah, those are the first 3 of the 10. I think I'll stop at that, and I'll maybe go through the next 3 next week if I remember, and we can have a little series on paramin. But yeah, that's my thoughts for today. Hopefully it's been helpful for other people. Anamodana sadhu.